Giggs. Giggs. No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at? It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy cars and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up.
Don't unplug anything. Let's go. Clap hands there. Sinker. Professional, see? Add it in because it could be a
t-shirt in the way.
Yes, indeed.
Did you wear yours?
I know. You had to do that, didn't you?
I bought mine.
He brought his. Podcast Nation. You can do it now for Rhodri Giggs and Rhodri Giggs on Football Friday 7:30.
I'll just start it.
What's happening? Hey guys, I'm Si. Welcome to A.C.E Podcast Nation, the home of Rhodri Giggs on Football. This is the last show of 2021, episode number 18 in the series. We are live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter as always. And as you all know by now, we have plenty of great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts and more on the channel. So please do give us a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. And if you prefer your podcasts in the audio format, then you can get them at the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's first all-sports podcast network. You can find all the Rhodri Giggs and football shows and pretty much every single show we've ever done, all there. The only shows you will not find are The Boot and the Limp, our other adult comedy series, which we did about 12 episodes of, and then we ended abruptly. But that returns next Wednesday exclusively on the A.C.E Podcast Nation Patreon. It's a weekly adult comedy series with myself and stand-up comedian Barry Phillips, full of expletives and funny stories. But that's every Wednesday on Patreon. So if you're not a member, it's as little as £3 a week, £3 a month. Sorry, not £3 a week, £3 a month. So price of a coffee for lots of different rewards and content. But I am delighted to welcome back Ex Salford City winger and manager, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you, mate? You right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You? Good Christmas?
Yes, mate. Yeah, mate. It was all right. It was good. Yes.
How many selection boxes you got left?
None. All gone. All gone, mate. Thing is, it was weird. I said to my missus on Christmas Day, right? So, like my youngest is 12 now. So, it was just a really weird thing. They didn't get up till 9 o'clock on Christmas Day, and we kind of all just had a really chilled morning. Just
it's not like it was when we were kids. It's not. It's just
mate,
totally different, isn't it?
Well, when I see my mother yesterday, she was saying to me and my brother, we used to get up. There was one year we were up at 1 o'clock, and they'd only just put the presents out and stuff, and it was and then we were up every hour. They'd send us back to bed, and then in the end, I think we got up at 3. Opened some presents and then went back to sleep for a bit because it was just they just couldn't get us back to sleep. But my kids have been generally good when they were younger. You'd manage to get them to about 6:30, 7, But like this year was just so different because they're all basically teenagers, with the oldest ones, nearly an adult. Like, it's just different. It's so chilled out. And I asked my missus the question, like, do you prefer this chilled out kind of Christmas Day, or do you prefer it when they were like 10, 8, and 6, and it was just mental because they were just so excited and they're just like running around, and we couldn't decide because there's enjoyable parts to both in there, but like from a stress point of view, I suppose the teenage one's a bit easier. And what about you, mate? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's alright. Quiet. Good.
Yeah, New Year's Eve, overrated, mate. We don't care about that.
Yeah, no, forget about it.
Craig says next stage is them getting up late with hangovers. Do you know what? Right, I ruined some Christmas days in my early 20s for my mum, I think, because there was one day like I didn't come home till like about 4 o'clock in the morning from Christmas Eve. Like went to the pub when the pub closed.
Christmas Eve was a good night, though, wasn't it? It was always a good night.
Christmas
local
Eve
pub, packed up.
Yeah, everyone's back from university and all that. It was classic. But yeah, I had a few where I couldn't even look at my Christmas dinner, and I'm like looking back, like I feel a bit sorry for my mum, like, but but as Craig says, like a couple of years, my boys are going to be like, when the youngest is 16, they're going to be like 16, 18, and 20. It's just going to be like taking a team of adults to the in-laws and to my mums and stuff. So it's going to be, it's going to be weird. But I say with anything, mate, isn't it? It's like when they're younger, you want them to be a bit older, and when they're older, you want them to be a bit younger. And you just got to enjoy it, mate, while it's there, I suppose, because soon enough they'll be adults, mate, and then the grandkids will come, my friend. And do you know what? Congratulations, by the way, to Scott Young. I just spoke to him just before the show. Actually, he's going to be a grandfather. Can't fault him. But
I'm pretty sure when I had trials at Cardiff, he was there, Scott Young.
Probably. You're about the similar age, aren't you?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure because they didn't take me on, and then I obviously went to Torquay. And funny enough, Torquay was in Cardiff's group, and I was. It's probably one of the better games I played. We drew them 1-1, but Cardiff had a really good side. Obviously, Youngie was there, and a few others who were touching near the first team. So yeah, we drew them 1-1, and I scored a goal from about 25 yards out. But I played really well. And then the manager coming off, looking at me, didn't speak, and she's like, "Where was that, Rhodri, when you come to trial with us?" But it was. I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, he stayed there his whole career there, mate, didn't he? He's like the
I know, but on my trial, I'm pretty sure I remember his face because I'm pretty sure it was Scott Young, but you'd have to ask him when you speak to him. I will,
because he's coming into Each Sleep Media, I think, in January, mate. Yeah, we should do we'll do a three-man show, innit?
Nathan Blake was there at the time. There was all kinds of super,
incredible players coming through at that time. But like, Scott, I think Scott was vastly underrated as a footballer. Like, people kind of write him off as like just a rough and ready centre back who, kind of almost like a journeyman. But like, I think he's a better footballer than he gets credit for. Like, and to play in one club for your whole career, I think you don't see it a lot. Like, you could probably pick a handful of players off the top of your head, and obviously Ryan and Paul Scholes, Guy Neville, they're kind of straight away, aren't they? Scott Young.
Yeah.
There is a couple of others in there, like Gerrard, just about stayed at Liverpool for his whole career. He would have left for Chelsea, though, wouldn't he? He would have. He's chasing that money. But there we go.
No. When you hear these interviews, I think he toyed with it, but it was never on the cards when he had that conversation with his dad and brother, by the sound of it.
Yeah, I think you couldn't, at that point in Liverpool, where Liverpool were, I don't think you could have blamed him if he had gone to Chelsea, because
no, but he's right.
Liverpool weren't in contention to win.
But he's right. What he said, he would have regretted it. So
yes,
because it wouldn't have felt the same. So yeah,
and it's not as if staying at Liverpool meant he was skint, is it? At the end of the day, so It is what it is, I suppose. But
Average sized club. It's not a bad club to stay at, is it?
yeah, it's like middle-sized club, isn't it? But they, hopefully they'll get some fans over the next couple of years to really build. But not too bad. Now, I want to talk to you first of all about the African Cup of Nations, mate. Do the Premier League as a whole, fans, media, managers, clubs, the lot, do they disrespect that tournament? Because I saw that Eric Bailly had travelled for the African Cup of Nations with the Ivory Coast, and then has been recalled to play for United tonight. And to me, it's one thing if he was here and you'd asked him, can you stay a couple of extra days, play, and then go? But to recall him after he's already travelled over there seems a bit naughty and a bit stupid. And it's not the first time, it's a massive inconvenience to players, to clubs, to managers, not to players, but to managers.
It just shows the problems and the ecstasy of what's going on at United in a minute. Why would you even let him travel? So he's going to travel 10 or 11 hours or whatever he's travelled there, and then he's got to travel all the way back, and then he's got to travel all the way back. So you're talking like over 30 hours on a plane.
To play one game against Burnley.
And he might not even play. Is he playing? Don't know if he's,
I haven't seen it. I'll have a look at the team news.
Well,
but do you know what?
Now.
Do you know what takes the mick about that, mate? Is you're telling me that United haven't got a centre back in the academy. So I'm assuming Varane or Lindelof or Maguire. I'm assuming one of them's injured.
Phil Jones is fit as well, so he's been on the bench recently.
Well, hasn't he?
He's been on the bench recently.
And
so he is playing though. So he's not come to sit on the bench. He is playing. So
is Varane is injured.
And I think he what I've seen, he's the better partner for Maguire.
But you know what? If I was going to drop Maguire or Raphael Varane from the last couple of games, I'm not sure it would be Varane who I'd be dropping, mate. I got to be honest.
He was poor though, mate. He was really.
He wasn't great, but I've got to admit, I thought Harry Maguire's been poor for a while now, and I think he's only getting away with it because he's the captain, basically. Like, to me, if he wasn't captain, he'd have been dropped by now. I do believe that, but I agree with you. I think Eric Bailly's probably, if you could keep him fit, I'd argue that I think there's an argument to be made that he's the best fullback, best centre back at the club still, which is madness. But the problem is he just can't stay fit for a whole season. Is the big issue. But I mean, yeah, in terms of the African nations, like, that's ludicrous to travel that much for one game.
It's not good. And you wouldn't be surprised if he comes off with a muscle injury or.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So.
Well, he does get injured a lot, doesn't he? And I mean, imagine he gets like I don't know, an injury which keeps him out for like a month. He's out with the African nations.
It's just ridiculous the amount of time to let him go and then 2 days later to call him back. But like I say, what I see at United, Bailly is the best partner for Maguire. So he's quick. Yes, he's made a couple of mistakes. He scored an own goal, but you accept that. He's got to get games. He's never really had a good run of games. He's always come in and come out, or he's got injured. But what I've seen when he's on top of his game, he's difficult. He's quick. He's powerful. He's fast. He's just a bit rash at times, but his pace gets him out of it sometimes.
Yeah, like I think it was you who said about a month or so ago when we were talking about the African Nations Cup that it's effectively the Euros for that part of the world. So it's a big deal in that part of the world. No matter how much the Premier League and the clubs hate it, it's a big deal for the African nations. So is there a bit of disrespect there, mate?
Yeah, it's disrespectful. But it's because it's in January and it's not where normal competitions are, so the players aren't missing out on games, or the clubs aren't missing out on the players playing for them. So you can see their argument, but you know it's a major tournament and it is disrespected. You see Ian Wright saying I made a little video recently, and I couldn't agree more with him. He's just spot on. It just gets disrespected, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but it's just a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. And you know what? It's always I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I watch every minute of every game. But whenever I do watch the African nations, it's always quite enjoyable. It's always, quite end to end. You don't see a lot of boring games. It's always a bit feisty. And there's some top players in that tournament, mate. At the end of the day,
yeah, there's a lot of really good players in that tournament now. So, and the standard of African football is come on leaps and bounds from 20 years ago. All these players now,
Jesus.
Salah, all these African players at top clubs. So, yeah, it's totally
mate,
changed. And
how many years ago was it that like Egypt would have been getting spanked in like a World Cup if they did qualify, like 10-0 or 9-0?
exactly. But that's a lot of teams. Mate. Ivory Coast have come on leaps and bounds. Look at Cameroon from 1990. How they've come. Mind you, they were decent back then, but they were probably the spearhead for the other African nations to come through because Nigeria and Cameroon were the strong ones when I was growing up.
Yeah, and Craig makes a great point here. He says the club signed these African players knowing that this tournament is when it is, and they're going to get picked. So they've just got to shut up and get on with it. We've
been through this before, though, haven't we? We've been through this a couple of weeks ago. They're literally going to miss probably 2-3 games maximum. Yes, they'll miss an FA Cup game, but it's an early stage.
They probably won't play anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they get rested. So
yeah, exactly. So the 2, probably maximum 3 games. So it's not a massive amount of games.
No. But managers love a moan, unfortunately.
Well, especially Liverpool when you've got Mane and Salah. It's a big loss from that. It's a big loss.
Yeah, in fairness, mate, Jurgen's on one at the moment. He's moaning a lot.
He's always on one, isn't he? Proper windbag.
He had a real weird moan the other day. I'm trying to find the quote. I can't find it, but it was something about the Leicester goalkeeper and. I think he got lost in kind of the.
Oh, he's telling him to get vaccinated the other day. People are not. Okay, he's a doctor now as well.
God. Bless him. Chelsea have announced an annual loss of 145 million. Actually, 145.6 million. If you're a Chelsea fan, would you be concerned by that? Because I have said if Roman says he decides right, I've had enough of this, I'm off. There's not a lot of people who can take on that amount of debt and manage and still spend.
Mate, he's not gonna build all these owners now who buy these clubs. They're all billionaires.
No, I know that, but if they're bored, if he gets bored, is my point, and he sells
No, but I don't. I've been saying this from the start he got in. He's not going to build the brand of Chelsea Football Club and then just go, you know what, forget this. I'm going to leave it. £130 million. I know it's a lot of money. But this guy just bought a boat for nearly £1 billion or something daft, a yacht. He's got silly though. So £130 million. Yes, like I say, it's a lot of money. But to these billionaires, it's a drop in the ocean. So
interesting.
I don't see that happening. I see him. If he's going to do that, he's going to steady the books. You've got to think Lukaku's come in, which was nearly 100 million. So there's most of that. So yeah, he's got the money to do it. So it's not a big worry, to be honest. They've been saying this for years. Oh, what if he gets off? What if he leaves? If he leaves, another billionaire will come in and buy it. Chelsea Football Club.
So
Chelsea Football Club, Kings Road, all the history that goes with it. Do me a favour, they'll be fine.
So then, if Chelsea fans shouldn't be worried by £145 million worth of loss,
no.
Bristol City lost £38 million the past year. Should their fans be worried?
Well, yes, because they're not a Premier League side. They've been nowhere near the Premier League side. There's managers coming in and out every 2 minutes, so that's going to cost a load of money. And yeah, for a club that size, it's a big worry, isn't it? £38 million. Where are they going to get that kind of money from? Now
It's
these, now we're
massive.
not talking about billionaires. We're talking about local millionaires or people who aren't as wealthy as these Premier League owners. So yeah, that's something that if I was a Bristol City fan, I'd be looking more. Might end up down near Bristol Rovers and playing with them.
Yeah, I'd be interested, to see when all these championship figures come out now. Like, I'd be interested to know how much Cardiff have lost this year, because they will have lost probably more than that, I think.
Well, it's there's a pandemic as well, and people have lost out in the last year massively. We're not going to go into it, but yeah, loads of people have lost out because of this pandemic.
Yeah.
If it's not fans turning up, or just season tickets, the big what's up in the air, what's going to happen. So yeah, it's definitely going to affect people, especially clubs like that.
100%, mate. Lorna says, what's your thoughts on John Terry returning to Chelsea as academy coaching consultant?
It's a legend of the club going back to Chelsea. What can you say about it?
Are you surprised that he hasn't gone for like a managerial job somewhere, though?
Well, he obviously can't get one.
Yeah. You'd think someone would take a punt on him, wouldn't you? Like,
you would think someone would, but no one has yet, have they?
No. It's interesting. I think the fact he's a consultant, I think maybe, obviously I don't know, but maybe like leaves the door open. Perhaps that if a job comes up, he can kind of easily go without causing too much disruption, as opposed to being like the academy manager or whatever it may be.
I think it's just being around football, being back in football, and it's a strange job to have.
Yeah, it's almost like it's been created, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to talk as well about these postponements because I saw Andy on Twitter was not happy, and Middlesbrough fans generally were not happy because the Blackpool manager was trying to get their game postponed with Middlesbrough. It did go ahead, but the reason he said they had a couple of players out with COVID, but they had a lot of injuries as well, and he was kind of bunching the injuries in with the players missing from COVID and trying to kind of use that as, well, we can only field these so many players. To me, the whole point of having an academy system and an under 23s is that you're supposed to be blooding and making these players for the future. If you can't pick 3 or 4 players from your academy to sit on the bench in a Premier League or a Championship match, then what are you wasting money on the academy for? Because I saw one, I can't remember who it was one of the Premier League teams were moaning because they fielded, I think it was 4 subs instead of the 5 on the bench, instead of putting an academy player on there. And it's like, what's the point? Just get some young players in there because it's not like they've only got 8 players available and then they've got to fill up the starting 11 with, like half youth players. So it is frustrating. But for me, use your academy players and get on with it, is what I say. I'd be interested what people know, what people say in the chat, what people's opinions are and stuff. Ultimately, to me, use your academy system, because if you're not going to use your academy system, then there's a problem. Otherwise, what's the point in having it? Because there's a difference between fielding half a team in there, Rod, of young, like if you've got to field like 5-6 players from your youth team or your under 23s in the first team game, to being able to field a team of first team squad and then having 4 youth players on the bench. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I think teams should have to play if that's what they're doing.
Totally agree, but you just don't do it anymore. 2 or 3 players, and it's called off.
It's going to be mayhem, mate, towards the end of the season, trying to fit all the games in.
It is, but it's better than shutting down for a month and not no one playing at all. At least they can get some of the games that teams can play going, and it's just another It's another one of them seasons. At the end of the season, you have to put an asterisk on it because it's not been easy for everyone really. But everyone's in the same boat, so.
Of course, yeah. And look, it's not easy, and some teams haven't got as big a squads as other teams. I get that, but I've seen a few. Like Craig said, there some teams have been fielding 2 goalkeepers on the bench, which to me is ridiculous. That you'll field a second goalkeeper on your bench to potentially play as an outfield player instead of having a youngster on there traveling with the first team. Like, that experience is vital to their development, even if they don't get on, just to travel with the first team and to experience it from the sidelines in the match day. I think it's quite shameful. I was really disappointed to see so many clubs kind of like grabbing the chance to postpone games so easily.
It just tells you as well that these academies are not as good as people think they are.
Absolutely, mate. And I look. The other thing is, clubs are not stupid. They know that if they close down their training ground because they say COVID outbreak, could be one person who then ends up not testing positive. Not saying that's happened, but it could be. But because they've closed their training ground, there's even more likelihood of games being called off. It's going to be, it's going to be problematic. And I think what made it worse is back in 1997, which I know is a long time ago, but Middlesbrough got done in the Premier League against Blackpool for playing an under-strength side, and they got deducted 3 points for that game, and they then got relegated because of it. So I think there's a bit of history there as well, and a bit of salt in the wound. So I think, Middlesbrough fans were not happy, but Middlesbrough went on, got a last-minute winner. Very good result for them. Blackpool equalised in the 91st minute and still somehow managed to lose, which is quite incredible. But, it is what it is, I guess. United, mate, you're a United fan. What have you made of the return to action after a little bit of a break from COVID?
What was the last game?
Who was it?
Newcastle, yeah. Poor again, really poor. Let's go through the team. Dalot and Tellez, okay. Varane, Maguire, both of them were shocking. Varane was giving the ball away. It's all right saying, he needs to be match fit. This, you still be able to pass a ball straight and not be kicking out of play or losing the ball that results to a goal. So, not a great start for Varane. And he's not had a great start to his United career. He's not set the world alight. Maguire is having a poor season and he needs to fix it and fix it quick because, the knives are out for him. They are out for him. He didn't help himself with that silly celebration for England, and then getting sent off. He's just he's just set himself up, and it's not going well for him. He just needs to put it right on the pitch. But before the season, I thought he's done really well. But Fred, rubbish. Come off at half time again. I don't know why people keep playing him. McTominay, average. Rashford was average first half, got better second half. Ronaldo, didn't even see him. Fernandes gave the ball away too much. Who else was there? Greenwood wasn't great. Sancho come on, wasn't great. Cavani come on was probably the good thing about the day, of the night. So it was not a good performance. Could be here all day slating. He's just got to move on and get another match under your belt and see how we go on today and see how it works out today. But I expect a better performance and
just looking at the team from tonight, they've dropped Rashford, who I think's been poor for a couple of games. They've dropped Fred, who's been poor for a couple of games. It's Matic and McTominay with Sancho and Greenwood, and then Cavani and Ronaldo. It's in some ways for you, I think it's sad that Cavani's come at a time when he can't play week in, week out, because I think United always look better when Cavani's up front, because he presses from the front, he runs down the channels, he runs in behind. He reminds me of Tevez in many ways. Makes a pest of himself, but is also an exceptional finisher, footballer. So I'd be interested how they get on today. There was a lot of reports that United players are unhappy with some of Ralph Rangnick's training methods, namely that it's a bit too intense, a bit too tiring, and it's also the evening sessions that he's got them doing. You got any sympathy for him there, mate?
Sympathy, right? So they get up at what, 8:30, roll into training. Get out to train about 10:30. Train for an hour and 20 minutes. Come mosey back in, have a nice bit of lunch that's already made and everything's done for him. And then probably come out and train for another hour. Maybe dark. So that's probably why they're getting home dark, like the normal folk do. So they don't want to feel normal. They want to feel special because they're footballers. So yeah, probably get fucking over it. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Play better, win games. You don't have to do double fucking training sessions. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. But they obviously need it. Look where they are. They're 7th in the league. You're losing the ball constantly and not beating teams like Newcastle, Norwich. Who the fuck do you think you are? You need to work harder and obviously train harder. And that's what he's seen and that's what you're doing. If you don't like it, see you later.
Yeah, there's a few, mate, who I think if they don't sort themselves out, they could be on the hit list.
Yeah.
To be
Gary
gone,
Neville's
mate.
Right, saying whinge bag, but he's getting on his pedestal and he's using his, he's thinking he can talk to him through the media. It doesn't help. It just doesn't help talking about things that are in the papers or stories that might have been, back in his day. Oh, we don't believe anything. It could be, but yeah, he believes it, and and it just creates more drama. Papers all over it. Neville calls players whinge bags, so he doesn't help. Just doesn't help.
Yeah, but I think these players, on the whole, have seen off like 4 managers now. Like, there's got to be.
Oh,
some of them have got to be held accountable.
Some parts he is right because these players have got managers sacked.
Yeah,
it's clear and simple. They've got 2 managers sacked now. So.
Says he can't believe Maguire's the same player.
But the way you turn it around is you work harder, you train harder. That's how you get through it. If you don't, you're not going to get through it. So he's obviously identified that. That's why they've got double sessions. So play harder, work harder.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Gaz says he can't believe Harry Maguire's the same footballer that he was last year before the Euros. So
just looks like since he's come back from that, he's just not.
Do you reckon it could be because he had an injury, didn't he? He came back from the Euros. I thought he started the season okay, and then he had that injury.
You've got to put in the fact that people will target him. He's a fucking fridge freezer. He's not the quickest, but he's very, very good in his positional sense, and he's very smart. I like John Terry, but you get him in a foot race and kick it past him, the guy's panicking. I mean, Paula Radcliffe, heads all over the gaff, struggling, so he needs to, people are targeting him, and he's just going to have to man up and sort it out because people are after him at the minute, and rightly so, because he's not playing well, so you would do.
Yeah, it's a
weird
he's
captain of Man United, so he's got to suck it up.
Yeah, I think there's a few of them which could do with remembering the privilege of, 1, being a professional footballer, 2, playing for Manchester United. Because
it comes with added pressures. That though, it's they're used to being at Leicester, Sheffield United, where they lose a game. It's all right. You lose a game at Manchester United, it's a crisis, and they've lost a lot of games this year. And he's the captain, he's the spearhead. He's the local point, and if you're not playing well,
he's going to
be targeted, especially when you've got a price tag of £80 million. Do
you know what I find interesting is all the players they've been linked with in January signing. One, positionally are the players that they need, but two, not many like household names have been linked. It's been like players from Germany and Europe, which, you know, maybe not every football fan will know who they are. And I find that
that's
interesting.
sometimes a good thing, though, mate.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, some of these main stars who come in, they just don't do it.
Yeah, they already believe they're unhyped, don't they?
Yeah. You know, look how we grew from years ago. Who knew Andy Campbell? Who knew about Peter Schmeichel? Who knew about Dennis Irwin? You've got to find these gems. You've got to look. You're working, scouting. There are players out there. You've got to find the right and fit the players for your system. So there are players out there. You just got to. But everyone's looking for these players. So it becomes a lot more difficult. But you Manchester United, so you should be able to attract these players.
Yeah, 100%. It's I really am going to be fascinated to see what they do in January, because Tottenham are on a bit of a roll, and I'm
pretty sure they're going to bring in a player that we've just talked about that's plays in Europe but doesn't know a household name, but you know he's identified that's what the United need. I'm fairly confident that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they've needed a decent holding midfielder for a while, haven't they? So
yeah,
I would imagine,
athletic, good on the ball, holding defensive midfielder.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to see who they bring in. The only person, or the only sort of big name I've seen them linked with at all has been Haaland in the summer, which, you know, he's always going to be linked with every man, and anyone who can afford him, he's going to be linked with because of who his agent is. But there is a link there that between Ranić and Haaland. So I know you think he's more likely to go to Man City than Man United, you said before, didn't you? If he was going to come to the Premier League.
Oh, Barcelona and Real Madrid, they're coming back into play, aren't they? So
somehow they found the money from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's almost like the bank which owns the league doesn't want them to capitulate, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they found the money. That's the main thing. They're not going to go bust. China has banned professional footballers from getting tattoos. Now, that is a country which tells you what you're going to do with your body, isn't it?
Well, that's the way we're going. Everyone's telling you to get a vaccine, do this, do that, get a vaccine passport, do this, do that. That's the way we're going. We'll be like China soon. We won't, but that's the way people.
That's the way people getting up in arms about, isn't it? But that's in 2021.
Imagine Boris Johnson saying you can't, someone saying you can't get a tattoo. What? Why?
Yeah, it's madness. And then on the other side of the coin, in New Zealand, there was a lady newsreader who became the first news anchor to do or have the job, given the job with face tattoo. She had like a Maori tattoo on her chin. It's a very traditional Maori tattoo. I apologize, I can't remember what the word for it is, and it's got like a big meaning and honor, but it's quite a big story.
It's traditional, and it's not like I love Dad on your head or
teardrop, or something. But face tattoos are in, mate.
Tattoos are in.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't get one, but one of my good friends has got loads of them. Loads of them, mate. He's got them all over his face. But he's a loon, in fairness. But he's a rapper. He's a T-Rev. Shout out to him. Mate, he's got face tattoos all over. He's got tattoos literally covered head to toe. And I've got tattoos. I wouldn't have them on my face. This is my personal preference. I also don't think that just because someone's got a tattoo on their face affects how they do their job in any way whatsoever. But there was a few Americans who they properly were up in arms. Not Americans, sorry. Australians and New Zealand people up in arms that this lady was on TV with a Maori tattoo. And I was like, did she do her job properly? Was she good at her job? Yes, she was. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And Cade says, hey, he's got it. I know.
Who cares as long as they do the job properly?
That's it, mate. I couldn't care less what you do in your private life, what you look like.
Unfortunately, some people prejudge you when you see, oh, you've got a tattoo in his head. Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Tattoos and piercings you get judged straight away.
yeah, exactly.
Just one of them things, isn't it? You got any tattoos, mate? You got any tattoos?
You've already asked me this before. We've already gone through it.
Did I ask? Oh yeah, there we are. There we go. Any piercings? Cymru and beard. Piercings?
Piercings.
Yeah.
Oh, my ear pierced when I was at school. I hadn't had an earring in. Talk about it yesterday. Used to get, as we were going down in the Manchester Round, when we used to get the bus home, we used to go down the escalators, and there's an underground market, and right in the corner there was a joke shop. And right next to the joke shop was an earpiece piercing shop. Just walked in with a gun. Nice one. Just walked out.
There you go. Job
Simple
done.
as that. We was probably in there like 2 minutes.
They don't do it with a gun.
We went there, so we'll come back later. I went, right, okay, come back. Walked in, sat down, got a gun. £10. Nice one. In a bit.
Job done.
Is that easy?
They don't do it with a gun no more. I had mine done with a gun back in the day. I had three at the bottom and 2 at the top.
Yeah, just a small little gun. It's like,
yeah,
nice
one. But they do. My missus had like the inner part of her ear pierced a couple of years back, and then they do it like a needle. It's
still pierced because I used to wear it in for years, but yeah, not for 20 odd years. I've not put it in, but every now and again, pierce it to wind the kids up. Put like a big circle in or something.
Yeah. I had my eyebrow done as well a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I would never do that business. Just
it was.
Kids I was 14.
No, I was.
They didn't 17, even ask me age. They went, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But I was about 14.
United's Hannibal Mondakabaya from that's the name of the manager. Hannibal I can't pronounce his surname. Magebury from the academy. Hannibal is in the Tunisia squad for next month's African Cup of Nations. That's a big deal for someone who's only made 1 Premier League appearance. Do you know much about him, mate?
Say that again. Cut off.
Hannibal Magebury in the United Academy is in the Tunisia squad for the African Cup of Nations.
Don't know much about him, to be honest.
I think he played 1 game off the bench for at the end of the season last year, I think it was. But yeah, he's in the African Cup of Nations, that's a massive opportunity for him. Like if he goes there for Tunisia, scores a couple of goals, does really well. Do you know what I mean? Like he could suddenly be pushing for a space in the first team. United.
That's all it takes. Look at Marcus Rashford come out of nowhere. So yeah, if they've got ability, they'll always get a chance at Man United. That's always the good thing in Man United. You'll always get a chance at a young player. You've just got to take it.
Yes, indeed. Right. So, I was going to say, New Year's, when you think of football and New Year's, like New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, what's the thing which comes to mind straight away? See, one of the things which I remember as a kid was on New Year's Day, United playing QPR and losing 4-1.
4-1. I was at that game.
Brutal. And I was quite young
at that game. 4-1.
What springs to mind when you think
it was
of
at Old Trafford, that as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. What springs to mind? January or like New Year and football. What's the first memory?
Newcastle. New North East being freezing.
Yeah. You always seem to play Newcastle, though, don't you?
Yeah. Or someone in North East, if it's Sunderland or Middlesbrough or Newcastle, one of them.
That's it, isn't it? Craig said you did hear me say that Hannibal's the first time. You just wanted to make me pronounce his name the second time because I struggled with it big time. Right, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask or whatever, send them in and we shall answer them. Might be a slightly shorter show because we're going to go watch the football, but we've got 43 minutes in already. Geez. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Cardiff, mate, because I think Cardiff are in big trouble in terms of relegation this year. I know you said a few weeks back you didn't think that they were in too much trouble. You thought they'd have enough to stay up. Has anything changed in that for you? Because, I'm not. I look at the table, I look at where everything stands, and I just something's not right at the club. Within squad, I feel that the squad's not big enough, not good enough, and it's going to be an issue, I think, come the end of the season.
You'd think it was 2 going down, but I'm telling you now, Derby are going to get out of this.
Yeah.
They will get out of it.
We said the other week, didn't we? Rooney's going to get manager of the year because he's going to keep them up.
It's Hull City, Cardiff, Reading, Peterborough. So it's out of 6, isn't it, Ray? 3 out of 6.
So Barnsley and Peterborough, for me, I think are going down. Definitely. And then that means it's out of Hull, Cardiff, Reading, Derby for the 3rd place. And I look at those teams. Cardiff's got the smallest squad. Cardiff's got the youngest squad. It's got
We'll see if he's allowed to bring any players in January. No, yes, not be able to buy any, but you can get some decent loans in if you put your mind to it. But yeah, they've just got to, because he's been given a chance, and the last thing he wants to do is get him relegated. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and definitely going to go down to the wire between like 3 out of 6 teams. Can I see Birmingham getting into it? Swansea, possibly. But I doubt it. They're kind of 6-7 points away from Cardiff and Hull. So yeah, it's
Cardiff needs to go on a run. If I was Steve Morrison, I would be trying to use my Welsh connections to get some loans in. There's a lot of good Welsh players, fringe Welsh players with experience, or there's a lot of good young Welsh players looking for first team football. That's probably the connections I'd be looking at. But obviously, Steve Morrison's got other connections within. He's been around the block. He had a pretty good career in the Championship and the Premier League. So I think there's places he could turn to. The man played flipping 169 games for Millwall, played 40 for Leeds, Norwich. He's played for Millwall 3 times, Shrewsbury. He's got some connections, albeit, maybe not the biggest, but he's got connections at Leeds and Norwich. There must be some players that he can do a bit of wheeling and dealing. And then obviously he's got connections within the Welsh system. There's loads of Welsh players. When you look at those young Welsh footballers, a lot of them would improve that Cardiff City squad. So, it is what it is. But, they're losing tonight. They're 1-0 down against Bournemouth. I saw Craig just said Cardiff are the better team, but a big deflection means they're 1-0 down. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. When you're not playing well, when you finally do play well, things just go against you, don't they? I saw Claire's now just said in the chat that United are struggling early doors against Burnley. So it's kind of how difficult, mate, is it when you're playing as a footballer week in, week out? How difficult is it to break the cycle? If you're in bad form, everything's going against you. How difficult is it to break that vicious cycle?
Yeah, it's difficult, but no, it's only difficult that if you just give up, and you just got to work through it. Experience helps, but the only way you can get through it is work harder and just work through it. Even if you're like a centre forward and nothing's going in, and suddenly one goes off your shin, and you're off and running. So sometimes it's a confidence booster, but you can never stop working and working hard and putting the shift in. So, some people don't do that and go the other way with it, and that's a problem. But you've all got to, dig in and like I say, just work through it.
Craig says Derby will only survive if the takeover is sorted next week. Otherwise, they'll have to get rid of all the big salary players in January. So,
well, if
that's
that
a
happens,
problem, isn't it?
They haven't got really. I shouldn't suspect they've got massive earners there. I suppose Tom Lawrence.
Yeah, Tom Lawrence, I think, is one who's on massive wages, isn't he? But I mean,
yeah, if you lose more players, then
that's a problem.
It's going to find it difficult. But they've done really, really well so far.
Mate, I've been for Rooney to do the job he's doing at the moment. I think it's difficult to find the words to like speak highly enough of it, because to lose that many points.
He walked away as well. And
of course he could have, mate. Of course he could have. Ian Wright's grandson's on the bench for Stoke tonight against Derby. That's mad, that isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sean Wright Phillips' son is on the bench for Derby. Mental, that is, mate. Yeah. Absolutely mental. We're getting old. Ronaldo's missed a sitter, apparently. He missed one the other day as well, from which he should have scored. He's passed it, mate. Passed it.
Watch it now when we finish this.
Waste of money. Right. Anyone got any questions then? And then we'll wrap it up for the year. But Cardiff, mate, they gotta get some players in on loan or free transfers to make that squad bigger. But it's got to be it has got to be the right players. It's got to be players who are going to improve it, because it's pointless just having numbers. You need players who are going to do a job for you. I worry for us, mate, I got to say. But, when you've got Kiefer Moore and you've got a couple of others who can do something, you have to do it. GD Parry says, who do you think has overachieved in 2021? Brighton. I think they've overachieved. I think they've had a very, very good season.
Brighton, who else overachieved? West Ham, done really well.
Yes, David Moyes, particularly. McTominay's just scored for United. I think, who else?
Arsenal as well, being fourth place, they're overachieving.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be there. And where do you think Arsenal were bottom of the league, weren't they? They were bottom of the league, mate, for a long time, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they did have a tough start, Brentford away.
Yeah, well, big clubs. Brentford, I think, have done... Where are Brentford in the league? 14th.
Mid-table. Yeah, they're a good team, them. It's a tough place to go, that. Yeah, but when
they got a fantastic...
watch the game there, it looks like it's bouncing, so... It's
got a fantastic
always helps that when you've got
mate.
a good atmosphere. It's just, you don't realise how much of a help it is when you're on the pitch and you're getting that kind of support.
They have got a really good infrastructure. Yeah, McTominay scored. They got Brentford. They got an excellent infrastructure. They got a great team off the pitch. They got new stadium. It's perfect for a team who've just come up. And what makes it even better, they play pretty good football. They've got some big results. They're definitely up there. Brighton, mate, I know they're 10th now, so they have dropped down a little bit. But I think Brighton, on the whole, have had a phenomenal year.
Yeah, good result yesterday as well.
They've been very, very good. Probably haven't got a deep enough squad to really push on for like a European place or something like that.
Don't they? Who scores goals.
Yeah, but then, so do you think they're close enough that if they brought in a decent centre forward, they could maybe push for like a Europa League place?
No,
or do you think they're not quite there?
There's too many good sides, man. They've done really, really well. Yes, they're probably at where they're at now, 10th, 8th. So there's a lot of good teams. You're looking at Tottenham, West Ham, Arsenal, United, Leicester,
Wolves,
Everton, who are down there, but they'll probably come back up. So you've got a few other teams that, cool your jets a bit, right? And you've done well. Just relax. Yeah.
And then you've got some big clubs like Everton, Leeds, Aston Villa, big Newcastle, historical clubs. Newcastle,
spend money.
So what would, for Brighton, come the end of the season, what would be a
top half
good
of the table.
So what would be? I'll ask you 3 questions. What would be a good finish? What would
Top
be an
half of the
excellent
table.
finish? Top half is good. What
Yeah.
would be excellent?
Oh, excellent! Obviously top 6. That'd be excellent to get in Europe. But like I say, you're fighting teams like Tottenham, United, Arsenal. These are powerhouses against Brighton. So yeah,
Considering, sorry, mate.
What?
Sorry, mate. I was going to say, considering the season they've had, or the start that Brighton have had this year, if they were to finish, say, outside the top 12, would that be considered then a poor season?
Well, no, it's something to build on. It's better than they did last year, so that's a positive. That's the way you look at it. Probably privately, they'd be a little bit disappointed the way they started, but they've not been relegated, not been in a relegation fight. They've had some good results, and yes, let's press on now to next year, and can we get better than the 12th? And that's the way they probably look at it. But privately, they probably think if they did finish 12, we should have finished a little bit higher. But you can't argue, you can't grumble, should I say?
No. Kiefer Moore is getting some stick in the chat. He's missed 2 great chances today. A few people, GD Parry says maybe he sees himself at a higher level after the Euros, but he hasn't done it for Cardiff this year. And I think that's the issue, isn't it? Is if you go and have like a big international tournament, you can maybe fancy playing at a higher level, but he hasn't done it in the Championship this year. So partially that's probably down to Cardiff, we're not being anywhere near as good as they maybe have been in previous years. But also he has still got to put the work in and score the goals. Otherwise, his reputation or whatever, he's not going to be considered at the level he was previously. Craig says, who do you think will get relegated? Craig, I don't know. Well, I'm going to assume you think you're talking about the Premier League because we've already talked about the Championship relegation. So have you have a look at that? The bottom 6 of the Premier League, Rhodri, who do you see going down now at this point?
Norwich, Watford, and I'm going to go for Leeds.
Yeah, I think I'd look at that. I go Burnley, Norwich.
You'll obviously have to look at Newcastle and see who they bring in.
Yeah, do you know what I saw in
Newcastle a load of cheats? Where's that performance been all season?
That's right. Exactly.
I should be
my next
used to it by
sentence
now,
was going to
but
be.
every time United comes into town, it's happened over the 25 years. These teams turn up on the day, and then the rest of the season is shit. So I should be used to it by now, but it still winds me up because they're just cheating the fans and the club by not playing like that and putting that work effort in every week, not just when Man United turn up. They won't be in this position.
I think they have been better since Eddie Howe came in. They've gradually got better. I thought that was their best performance since he's come in.
Yeah,
against United. But you're right. Like it's like those players, isn't it, who half-arse it against Stoke on a Tuesday night, but then when the Champions League game against Real Madrid or Barcelona or whoever comes around,
yeah, it was like
that.
It's like that everywhere. When I played at Bangor City, we've got Barry Town this week. Like, what? But they was a big team back in the day, but you could feel like it was like they half lost before you even got there. It's like I never thought. Yeah. So
yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? But you're right. Newcastle haven't been at the races. That's why they're bottom one. But I do think they're going to bring in this. They've been heavily linked with Ramsey, Kieran Trippier. Those are top level players. So if they were to bring that type of player in, keep Aaron Ramsey fit.
The sniff. He's going to be off him. If I was him, I'd be like, get me out of there because it's a joke.
Oh, mate. If Newcastle was to bring in Aaron Ramsey, Jesse Lingard, and who was the other one I said? Trippier. Sign those 3 players into Newcastle. I still think they need a striker, but you sign those 3 players, those 3 international footballers who are very, very, very good. So to me, Newcastle straight away look vastly stronger on paper, but Jesse Lingard has almost had the same problem that we just said about Newcastle. Doesn't always turn up week in, week out. So he's have to go and do that in Newcastle and show that he can do it each week. But Trippier, I'd be very surprised if United aren't back in for Trippier. in January. I really will be.
Would
you take Trippier, mate?
Pardon?
Would you take Trippier at United?
Yeah.
I'd be amazed if they don't go back in for him in January. I really would. But I think it depends how much money they got to spend, I guess, because they want a central midfielder, so I can't imagine they're going to have hundreds of millions to spend in January. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, as always. Thank you for all the support over the last year with the channel and, of course, with this show particularly. We've done some really good numbers, considering we haven't even done 20 shows yet. But we both really appreciate your support, joining us and stuff, especially tonight when you've got United and Cardiff playing tonight. And we still had plenty of comments and stuff and questions because a lot of our hardcore viewers who watch every show are United and Cardiff fans, so they're going to be at games and stuff like that. So I appreciate that massively. I hope you all have a fantastic new year, and we'll be back next Thursday for an all-new Rhodri Giggs on football. Trying to think. And there's more shows, but don't forget, if you want to watch our over-18s comedy podcast, it's a Patreon exclusive, so you can join patreon.com/A.C.E Podcast Nation for as little as £3 a month for exclusive content and shows and rewards and alike. But Rhodri, mate, as always, a pleasure. I'm going to leave you to go watch the football, my friend.
Yeah,
but, have a good New Year.
Happy New Year. Have a good,
Indeed, mate.
New Year's Eve, whatever you do, and yeah, I'll see you next year.
Indeed, mate. See you next year. Take it easy, my friend.
Don't forget to
Giggs.
be Super 6.
G-I-G-G-S. No. Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at? It's your opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion, Messi is better than me, but in my mind, I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy car cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low.